folks, I have with me the Congress candidate from East Guwahati Assembly Constituency, Ohima Bordoloi, who is taking on BJP's heavyweight, if you could put it that way, Mr. Siddhartha Bhattacharya. So we'll be talking to her about her plans to make Guwahati a clean, green and a smart city. And I'm sure she has her plans. So let's just talk to her and find out what's in her mind in terms of how she wants to make the city a good place for all of us to live in. Welcome to our program, ma'am. And I want to start off by asking you that you are a debutante. This is the first time you are contesting in assembly election. Before that, you've been a councillor in the GMC. What do you have in you, you think that you can, let's say, win the elections going forward?
What do I have in me? Well, basically, maybe my honesty, my sincerity, hard work and dedication, which is completely lacking with the BJP MLA and the minister.
Your hard work, your honesty and your dedication, how much of all that is really going to translate into votes? I know you are campaigning, you're moving around your constituency, you're meeting your people, and you know your constituency better than anyone else. And you've seen, I mean, Guwahati is a lovely city, but we see also the chaos with all that. Guwahati, East Guwahati, which is almost the gateway to the northeast. But look at the chaos, the traffic congestion, there's no water, people are buying water, the infrastructures are coming up, it is also disproportionate. What are your plans? How do you think you'll make Guwahati a better place for everyone to live in?
See, basically, that is true. Guwahati is the gateway to the northeast. Everyone looks up to this constituency, one of the most prestigious constituency among one of 26 constituencies of Assam. And the thing is that, yeah, there are a lot of problems. Basically, Guwahati is naturally a very beautiful place. It has a lot of greenery. Not only like Guwahati, the entire northeast is such a beautiful place. But then there are certain things which needs to be looked into it. I do feel really bad when people from Guwahati, people from outside, when they come to Guwahati, and you know, they see the moment they land up in the railway station or in the airport, once they come to the city area, they are greeted with a heap of garbage, and there's a lot of traffic congestion, maybe because Guwahati has not been planned properly. So we need a lot of planning. There is a lot of chaos, but those things can be easily dealt with proper monitoring, proper dedication, which is required not only by one department. There are a lot of departments which are involved in making the city less chaotic or more green or garbage free. Like when I was a councillor, I was a councillor for ward number 14. I communicated a lot with the people about making them aware about where to throw the garbage, how to do garbage segregation of wet waste and dry waste, and that they should be very particular at when we used to engage an NGO. Previously, we used to tell the GMC people to look after the garbage, but then we employed an NGO. We hired a third party, and they were doing quite well, and we had hired a lot of resource persons, to talk about the dry waste and the wet waste, to talk about the hazardous problems of using of plastic, so things like that. The representative of the person, the public representative, whosoever, maybe a councillor or a MLA or a minister, has to have a direct contact with the public, not only through phone. You cannot have a contact through phone, or you cannot give directions to someone on the phone. You have to be practically, you have to be practically on the field, be involved with the person, with the people, sit with them, talk with them.
But do you think that's, sorry, I'm just interjecting, do you think that's lacking in the person who's the MLA of the constituency for the last 5 years?
That is what I hear.
What do you think it's lacking?
That is what I hear whenever I've been to so many meetings now, that is what I hear, that the last 5 years, not even a single time he has visited practically the entire, we've got about
But he had a Janata Ka Darbar which is to be held, and he's been calling people in that Darbar and listening.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. He is completely lying, I would say, because when people go to him also, he hardly meets the public, because he's not an approachable person. We always say, when we talk to someone, we always say that, oh, that person is so nice to talk to. He or she is very approachable. So that thing is lacking with this, with the present MLA. That's very sad.
Do you think you're different when it comes to approach? Do you think you're more approachable as a councillor? How approachable were you?
Definitely, because I would say I have to talk about myself. I am still very approachable, and even when I was a councillor, because as a councillor, we had to look after every small little things of the ward. And I used to get up very early in the morning. I used to be on the field at 5:30 in the morning when the desiltation period was going on, when the cleaning of the drains was going on. It used to start at night, and it used to start at night at about 12 o'clock. So I used to work from 12 midnight till 4:30 in the morning. I used to be practically with them, and even the Bhorolu river is there, the Bahini river is there, and this was a huge kind of project which GMC had taken up regarding desiltation.
But were you successful?
Yes.
Are you satisfied at the end of the day?
Yes. That time
but
we
the
were very...
Bhorolu still looks very
because
covered, it looks very dirty.
Yes. When we go out of India, we see small streams, small rivers being... Yes, so yeah, they are being converted into tourist spots. So why not this place?
Why not?
Yes, why not? Because my father used to tell me when they were young, they used to go and catch fish in the Bhorolu river. It was so clean, but now it is full of filth. It is black water. You can say it's Ganda Nala.
So we can say this makes Ohima Bordoloi different, because she cares about the Bhorolu, she cares about the small rivers, the streams, which are a lifeline for the city, and she wants to see that people can go and fish like a father used to do and catch fishes in that river. That's a wonderful thought. But let's talk about the practical realities also. The Congress has been in government in the state for the last 60 years, the longest time. The BJP has been there for the last 5 years. You belong to a legacy. Your grandfather, Mr. Gopinath Bordoloi, if not for him, then what? I mean, we have the state. Then your father. So you carry a legacy behind you. Do you think all that is enough for you to win the elections?
Of course not. Of course not. That's not enough. Like I told you, when I was a councillor, I used to start my day at 5:30 in the morning. No one told me. No one told me, because it's absolutely my prerogative. Whether I start the day at 5:30 morning or at 11:30 in the morning, it's up to me. But I went because I wanted to know how things are being done.
But coming to again the few issues that actually are, I think, important. We talk about garbage. That's a very minute kind of an issue that you've pointed out. It's really very interesting. But let's look at Guwahati, and let's look at East Guwahati. A perennial problem is drinking water. Are we going to have people that are in their 80s? I've read out today, as I was coming to you, I was reading stories of this lady who's in her 80s now, and when she was young, she's been hearing from that time that you will get your drinking water. Today she's 80, she doesn't have drinking water. There are lots of people like that. I'm from Guwahati, a lot of us from Guwahati. We buy water. For how long are we going to buy a drinking water?
It's very sad. In spite of having the mighty Brahmaputra, we have a drinking water problem. Yeah, that's true. But during our Congress regime, we had started the Zyka or the Gammon project, but we had completed almost about 70-75% layout. The pipeline has already been laid out, but unfortunately it did not get complete. And in 2016 the BJP came to power, and they said that by 2017, by the end of 2017, there would be water in every household 24/7, but that nothing happened.
But would you say the Congress, which has been there before the BJP, has also not been able to really do, because this is not a problem that has just happened now. It's been there from before. We've not been able to address it. So how are you going to change that problem?
See, that's true. That's true that it's not that, you know, it's never been there and, you know, it's just come up now. It has always been there for so many years. But the thing is that, you know, population is growing. Population is growing because now Guwahati has become the hub of entire Northeast. So many people from the entire Northeast region now come to Guwahati. So many students come to Guwahati. So many people come looking for jobs. Population has really increased. So definitely the scarcity of water is getting higher and higher. Even I am born and brought up in this place where I reside now in Ulubari. We never used to buy water, but now we buy water because of the increase in population. So that's what our Congress government did to bring an end to this water problem. We had started this project spending crores and crores of rupees. We had almost done more than 50% of the work was done. But why did the BJP government did not take it seriously? And why did our representative, the MLA, local MLA here, why didn't he visit the hills? Why didn't he visit the hills even once? Even now when the elections are around the corner, he is not visiting the hills. He would rather spend some money and give it to the local guys and get the votes.
But what about the Guwahati water supply scheme? That's been collecting, I mean, that's been there for a long time.
See,
and I mean, I just wanted to, because the Japanese actually did not give a report. And I know and you and I know that if the Japanese had given a report, that report would have been very, I mean, it would have been a damning report. But this scheme has been there for a long time. We as people are responsible. Why aren't we aware of this problem? You as a candidate who's now going to seek votes from the people, how are you going to change this perception that, look, let us not depend on one water source, let us find other water sources, let us find alternatives?
See, I am very much sure and confident that our government is going to be back to power in 2021. Then we will have to seriously sit down and chalk out this project as soon as possible. But till then we have to have some alternative. And GMC is covering about 30% of the Guwahati population, but that is also in a very, very dilapidated condition. The pipelines, they are very old. The roads have come up, so the water pipelines are, you know, they are going through the drains, so they are in very bad conditions. It has absolutely got rusted, and the government is not giving money to GMC because of this project, because the Gammon project had come up. So already the government has spent so much of crores of money in this Gammon project. So the government is not giving money for the water supply in the GMC department. GMC never used to get enough fund for, you know, for repairing of the water supply scheme which Guwahati Municipal Corporation does. So even if the Guwahati Municipal Corporation is giving water, that's hardly anything. The production units, we have about 5-6 production units. They are also in very, very bad conditions. But our MLA, who is the GDD minister, he could have easily done it. But why didn't he do it? He never visited any of the GMC water plants. He never visited the hills. Even if he couldn't even if this project was not, you know, taking off, he could have easily dug some wells. He could have given some borings. He could have preserved. We have got a lot of natural, you know, the streams. He could have protected those streams.
But ma'am, I just want to also draw your attention, sorry, I don't want to cut you off there, but I just want to draw your attention to the fact that your father, Captain Robin Bordoloi, when he was in the Congress for 2 terms, I think he was also the chairperson of the GMDA, was he? And I think during that time, the water supply project, actually the schemes had started under his supervision. And today, I mean, so there was a time when you have a legacy there as well. And today the BJP or no BJP, but those projects have not really taken off. So somewhere, whatever the BJP inherited from the Congress, or let's say from your father, there must have been a problem there. What are these problems, and can we be a little honest about the problems that existed even during the Congress and the BJP, and you as a candidate would now rectify those problems and say, okay, fine, we will provide drinking water to the people of Guwahati.
No, I just couldn't get what you said, but I remember when my father was there, he used to tell me, see, out of the 4 constituencies in Guwahati, all the rest of the Jalukbari, West Guwahati and Dispur, they have got panchayats. Guwahati is the only, East Guwahati is the only constituency which does not have panchayat. So since these constituencies has panchayat, so they get extra fund. But this is only municipality ward. So this is the only municipality which has got East Guwahati constituency. So funds are definitely much more less than the rest of the 3 constituencies. So my father, when he would just sometimes come home and talk, I used to take an interest. So he would say that there are a lot of problems because to do any development work you need funds, you need the money. So he was only an MLA. He was not a minister. So all these things when he used to discuss, then I could make out that, you know, and he went to Delhi during when he was the chairman of GMDA. He went to Delhi and got some special water supply schemes. We have got 11 hills in Guwahati, and he has given 40 borings in these 11 hills, which are still running. Some are not running at the moment because of the water table has gone down.
So the Guwahati Development Department, which is under the current minister, who's your opponent from the other party, he is the minister of this department, and which I think also is takes care of the GMC and the GMDA. So do you think the department has really failed in terms of the desiltation, taking care of that process?
That's what I was trying to tell you. We are delayed by almost 2 months. Now anytime the summers are coming, they're almost approaching, anytime there would be rains. So the desiltation process has not started off as yet.
What's causing the delay?
I don't know. There is some kind of corruption going on. That's what I get to hear.
Could you be a little more
I don't know. There's some
specific?
kind of corruption because he is the minister. So he should have taken some steps.
Are you talking about this corruption to the people? Are you telling them there's corruptions, and are you making people
There is
aware?
corruption in the ministry level. There is corruption among the present politicians, among the present political party. That's what I can say. I don't have to take specific names of anyone, but there are certain problems which is happening with this department and with this department's minister.
So listening to you, I feel that Guwahati can never become a smart city, because if there is corruption, if the process of desiltation has not started, then we have the problem of the drinking water which is there, which is like a perennial problem, and then the infrastructure, the roads and the traffic. You see the growing traffic. The other day we've heard of reports of actually pregnant women who were actually stuck in the traffic, and they actually couldn't reach the hospital on time, and those kind of serious, and there are elderly people that are not making to the hospitals. The traffic congestion is growing by the day. What do you feel about that, and don't you feel that people have a right to actually ask you these questions, because you are going to the people and saying vote for me, you know, because people want to have a life which is much more freer on the roads.
We have to make people aware. And then we have to take fines. A lot of planning is required, and I can see that that's a very important question you have asked. The traffic problem has never been able. We have not been able to solve the problem. Like especially in the Ganeshguri point, even if the government has made flyovers. I know there are a lot of flyovers which has been done.
So, sorry
by this
again,
government.
since you mentioned flyovers and overbridges, what do you think of the flyovers and the overbridges?
Flyovers are there, but I don't.
We want an honest opinion.
Absolutely, it has the flyover from Zoo Road till Ganeshguri. I don't think so. Have you seen any improvement? Have you seen any improvement in the traffic congestion? I have not seen any.
Well, the joke is when we have the flyovers, we want to see traffic flying, but we don't see anything flying. We see everything stuck.
That's what I said. Because Guwahati has not been a planned city. We need to, and you know, the building permissions are given from GMC also, GMDA also. There has to be one department. And
but you have a magic solution that you're going to change all this if you become.
There is no magic solution. It will take time. Definitely will take time. People have to be aware. Because what I'm trying to say, we need planning people. We have to make people aware. We have to make people aware, and we have to try our best. All the department, the police department, the GMC, the PWD, the GMDA, everyone has to work collectively.
Ma'am, what according to you is a smart city? Do you believe in the concept of smart city which Mr. Modi talks about? And
Smart city, like when we were councillors, then we were taken to very efficient efficient municipalities, like we went to Chandigarh, we went to Bhopal, we went to Ahmedabad. We need a proper planning, because Chandigarh is a planned city. Now,
so the BJP talks about equally a planned city. Mr. Hemanta Biswa Sarma, every time he talks about a planned city, smart city for people, I think he's quite genuine, and he's quite honest about his views of a smart city. Don't you think so?
What do I say? Smart city means a city which is properly planned. There is drinking water, there are street lights, it's a garbage-free city, it's green, it's got beautiful parks, it's got
but Guwahati had that some time back. Only if we look 20 years back, 30 years back, Guwahati was beautiful. We had all of that. There's a lot of fresh air in Guwahati. We don't have all that right now.
That's what Guwahati has become the hub of. That's what I said. Guwahati has become the hub of Northeast. Everyone comes here to work and to study. So that way, is the government taking enough steps to look after to this overgrowing population? We people see there are a lot of students coming from from the neighboring states, and coming even from the neighboring districts, coming and studying in Guwahati. There are so many PG hostels, boys hostels, girls hostel. Is the government looking into it? Is the municipality looking into it?
So you're talking about something planned and something unplanned.
Yes. What I'm trying to say, the GMC has got the municipal corporation has got a lot of role in it, in making the city systematic and disciplined. GMC can do a lot of changes, and our MLA, he was the minister of GMC. What has he been doing? What he has done? Nothing.
Have you spoken to him ever? Did you get an opportunity to raise these issues with him?
I'm very sorry, he's not approachable.
All right. Okay. Just two, three more questions, because we know you're a busy person. It's late in the night. You've given us this time, and you also have to still go and probably have more meetings. I want to ask you about the manifesto of the Congress, because you're part of the Congress. You have a manifesto. They talk about a 5 guarantee scheme, and they also talk about different things over there. You all have talked about repealing the CAA, which has been an emotional issue in the state. We've seen the kind of violence, we've had the unrest, 5 people died in that protest a year and a half back. Now you talk about repealing the CAA, but it's not very clear how do you repeal, number one. And number two, why are you silent on the NRC? Because NRC has also affected a lot of people. A lot of people have suffered across the spectrum. Different people, religious minorities, linguistic minorities, even indigenous people have suffered. So why are you silent on NRC and not just talking about the CAs? And then you're talking about repealing the CA, but you're not very clear about it.
That's true. We have to, though the bill has been passed, when our government comes, we have to sit down and chalk out a plan.
Then the Congress is also because your party, the Congress, has been part of the Assam Accord. The Congress in the center signed the Assam Accord with the government in Assam. But today the Congress is silent on the implementation of Clause 6, as is the BJP. Why aren't you talking about implementation of Clause 6, which is so important to the people of Assam and the state of Assam?
No, we have been saying, why haven't we? We have been saying, of course we have been saying. We'll definitely.
But it doesn't reflect in the manifesto, ma'am.
We'll look into it. Yes.
All right. Then coming to the question of other things in the manifesto, because the Congress manifesto talks about opening up Gaushalas in each district. Do you need to open Gaushalas? What is the need for replicating what the BJP has been doing? Do you need to do that, or do you think you can do better?
Yes, we can do better things. It's not that we are trying to copy what the BJP is doing. We are also giving respect to that. It's like that. It's not that we are copying.
Final question, ma'am. Women's safety. I've heard you speaking about the safety of women, and Guwahati, Assam ranks very high in terms of the crime against women, the report that is just out. and your party talks about doing something for the safety and protection of women. What are your plans again? How do you think you'll make Guwahati a safe place for women to move around?
Being a woman, I would definitely take steps, and I would request that I would definitely look into that. There's a fast track court which gives justice to the crime against the woman. I would definitely look into it, and I would definitely be in touch with the Nagori committees, where these sort of issues or these sort of crimes can be discussed and we can come to a solution.
So on that note, Ohima Bordoloi, all the best. Looking forward to you contesting the election and making a difference. So folks, this was Congress candidate Ohima Bordoloi, who will be contesting from East Guwahati, and she will be in the contest in the third phase of the election. We will be back again with some more interviews, so look forward to more interviews in the Assam elections going forward. Thank you.